Your hamstring is primarily concerned with pelvic control. So it's going to be a primary sagittal plane based muscle, meaning the sagittal plane is basically like movements that are forward, back, up, and down. So if we think about our pelvis and how it's kind of like a bowl, your hamstrings are responsible for pulling that bowl backwards, or imagining like spilling water out of the back of the bowl. And then your quads on the other side would be responsible for pulling the pelvis forward and like spilling that water out the front of that bowl. That is the pelvis in this example. So when it comes to just general human movement and posture, like humans are different, like everyone's different, but we're not that different. And we all tend to default into certain predictable patterns of dysfunction, for lack of a better term, or postural malalignment. And that typically occurs through the quads becoming too powerful or too tight, so to speak, and they pull the pelvis forward, so the water is spilling out the front of the bowl now, and because of that, your hamstring could become lengthened. But when people think about a tight hamstring, they think they need to stretch their hamstrings, but in reality, the overwhelming majority of the time, it is due to your hamstring being too tight because it's being pulled on from both attachment sites. It attaches at the base of the pelvis, so on the lower end of that bowl, and it also attaches kind of near the back of your knees. So if you were to imagine that bowl spilling out water in the front so much that it's like a rope being pulled on from both ends, that's what goes on when someone has uh, a tight hamstring, but they think it's a tight hamstring because it's short. But that it would be counterintuitive to try to lengthen out an already lengthened out muscle, if that makes sense. So that's kind of a general overview of what the hamstring does, why it's important, and what happens when we think of a tight hamstring.